Dae-jin stood outside the diplomatic chamber and tried to breathe normally. His hands were shaking. He wiped them on his uniform for the third time in 2 minutes. The corridor was cold and sterile like everything else on the human ship Harmony's Gate. Metal walls. Bright lights. The smell of recycled air. He was 24 years old. He had never been this nervous in his life. Through the reinforced window beside the door, he could see the massive chamber inside. It was built for this moment. 3 years of war between humanity and the Drakari Empire had brought both sides to their knees. Now finally they would talk peace. Dae-jin was just a corporal, a mech pilot who spent most of his time in simulators. He fixed translation software and helped coordinate communication systems. Why did they pick him for this? "You're the best we have with alien linguistics," his commander had told him yesterday. The translation AI needs someone who understands both the technical side and the cultural nuances. That's you. Dae-jin wished they had picked someone else, someone braver, someone who didn't feel like throwing up right now. The door opened with a hiss. A human officer stepped out. She looked tired. Everyone looked tired these days. 3 years of war did that to people. "They're ready for you, Corporal. Remember, just introduce yourself. Be polite. Let the AI handle the hard translation work. You're just there to smooth things over if the software glitches." Dae-jin nodded. He couldn't speak. His throat was too dry. He walked into the chamber. It was huge. The ceiling stretched up at least 30 feet. The Drakari needed space. They were big. Really big. Dae-jin had seen pictures, but pictures didn't prepare you for reality. She stood at the far end of the room. Hayrin, wing commander of the Drakari Royal Guard, 12 feet tall. Her scales were deep red, like fresh blood mixed with rust. They caught the light and shimmered. Her wings were folded against her back, but even folded, they were massive. Her eyes were gold. Actual gold, not brown or hazel. They reflected the room's lights like mirrors. She wore armor, black metal plates that covered her chest, shoulders, and legs. But her arms were bare, showing the intricate scale patterns that ran down to her clawed hands. Each claw was as long as Dae-jin's finger. She could kill him without thinking about it. One swipe, one bite, one mistake. Dae-jin forced himself to walk forward. His boots clicked on the metal floor. Each step echoed. The room was too quiet. His heartbeat was too loud. He stopped 10 feet away from her. Protocol said to maintain distance during first contact. Show respect. Don't crowd them. Don't make sudden moves. Hello, he said. His voice came out smaller than he wanted. I am Corporal Dae-jin of the Korean United Defense Force. I'm here as a liaison officer for the translation systems. It's an honor to meet you, Wing Commander. The AI in his ear beeped softly, translating his words into the Drakari language. It came out as a series of deep growls and clicks. He hoped it was accurate. Hayrin tilted her head. Her golden eyes studied him. She was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke. Her voice was deep and resonant, like thunder rolling across mountains. The AI translated it into Korean in his ear. You are small. Dae-jin blinked. That wasn't what he expected. Yes, humans are smaller than Drakari. Very small. She took a step closer. The floor vibrated under her weight. Fragile too. I can see your pulse in your neck. Rapid. Are you frightened? A little, Dae-jin admitted. Lying seemed stupid. She could probably smell fear or something. Honest, good. Hayrin crossed her arms. The armor plates scraped together. I am told you will help me speak to your people. That you understand words and meanings. Is this true? I'll do my best, Wing Commander. Just Hayrin. We will work together. Titles waste time. She moved to a table that had been set up in the center of the room. It was scaled for her size, which meant it came up to Dae-jin's chest. I was told humans value honesty in diplomatic relations. That you respect directness, we do, Dae-jin said carefully. Good. Then I will be direct. Hayrin sat down. Her chair creaked under her weight. She leaned forward, resting her clawed hands on the table. Her golden eyes locked onto his. I haven't had sex in 16 months. Your species better be worth the celibacy vow I took for this mission. Dae-jin's brain stopped working. The words hung in the air. The AI had definitely translated that correctly. He heard it twice. Once in Drakari from her mouth. Once in Korean in his ear. Both times it said the same thing. Sex, 16 months. Celibacy vow. His face turned red. Then redder. Heat crawled up his neck and spread across his cheeks. His ears were burning. He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. He tried again. Still nothing. Hayrin frowned. Did the translation fail? You look ill. No, The translation? It worked, Daejin managed. His voice cracked. We don't usually. In human culture, that's very what? Personal. Private. We don't talk about that with strangers. Especially not in first contact situations. Hayrin's eyes widened slightly. The golden color seemed to brighten. Oh, this is a cultural difference. Yes, a big one. I have offended you. No, just surprised me. Very much. Hayrin was quiet for a moment. Then she made a sound that the AI struggled to translate. It finally settled on thoughtful rumbling. She sat back in her chair. Among my people, warriors take vows before dangerous missions. We give up comforts, pleasures, things that distract us from our duty. I volunteered for this peace mission knowing I might never return home. My people will call me a traitor for working with humans, so I took the vow. No physical intimacy until the mission ends. It shows dedication, seriousness. Understanding dawned on Daejin. You were explaining how important this mission is to you. Yes, but I used the wrong cultural reference for humans. Yes. I apologize, Corporal Daejin. It's okay. This is why we have liaison officers. To help with misunderstandings, Hayrin nodded slowly. You are very red. Human blood shows through your skin. Interesting. Do all humans change color when embarrassed? Most of us, yes. Fascinating. She leaned forward again. Tell me, Corporal, do you think peace is possible between our peoples? The question caught Daejin off guard. It was so direct, so heavy. He thought about it. Really thought about it. I don't know, he said honestly. We've been killing each other for 3 years. A lot of people have died on both sides. There's hate, fear, pain, but I think if we don't try, if we don't at least try, then all those deaths meant nothing. So we have to try. We have to believe it's possible. Hayrin studied him. Her golden eyes seemed to look past his face into something deeper. You are very young, she said finally. But you speak with wisdom. Perhaps there is hope. Before Daejin could respond, his communication device beeped. A message from his sister, Daerin. She worked in communications on the ship. The message was short. The entire ship heard that conversation. Your mic was on shipwide broadcast. Everyone knows. I'm so sorry, Daejin's blood turned to ice. His face, which had just returned to normal color, went bright red again. The mic, the shipwide channel. Everyone heard. 3,000 people, human crew, officers, scientists, diplomats. They all heard the dragon woman tell him about her sex life. He wanted to die. Hayrin noticed his expression change. What is wrong? Nothing, Daejin lied. Just a message, but he knew. This was going to follow him forever. This would be the story people told. The mech pilot and the dragon's confession. He could already hear the jokes. The teasing. The knowing looks. Hayrin stood up. We should begin reviewing the translation protocols for tomorrow's official meeting. I would like to avoid further cultural incidents. Yes, good idea. Let's do that. As they worked through the technical details, Daejin tried to focus. But in the back of his mind, he wondered how this mission was going to change his life. He didn't know it yet. But this embarrassing moment was just the beginning. The beginning of friendship. The beginning of understanding. The beginning of peace and the beginning of a legend that would be told for generations. 3 weeks had passed since the incident. Daejin still couldn't walk through the ship without people smirking at him. His friend Taehyun, another mech pilot, thought it was hilarious. The virgin pilot and the celibate dragon, he'd joke. Sounds like a bad romance novel. Daejin ignored it. He had work to do. Every day he met with Hayrin for coordination meetings. They planned joint military exercises. Small things at first. Human and Drakari ships flying in formation, sharing navigation data, practicing emergency protocols together. It was all part of building trust between the two species. At first, the meetings were awkward. Hayrin was formal and distant. She spoke only about work. She asked technical questions and gave precise answers. She never smiled. Daejin wasn't even sure if Drakari could smile, but slowly things changed. It started with food. Daejin brought coffee to one of their meetings. The smell caught Hayrin's attention. Her nostrils flared. What is that? Coffee. A human drink. It helps us stay awake. May I smell it? Daejin held out the cup. Hayrin leaned down, her massive head coming close to his hand. She inhaled deeply. Her eyes closed. Interesting, bitter, earthy, complex. Want to try it? She pulled back. Can Drakari safely consume human food? I don't know. I can check with medical. 2 days later, medical cleared a small list of human foods as safe for Drakari biology. Coffee was on the list. Daejin brought an extra cup to their next meeting. Hayrin tried it. She made a face. This is terrible. Most people think that the first time. Try it with sugar. She did. Her golden eyes widened. Better. Much better. She took another sip. Then another. This is dangerous. I can feel it affecting my system. Stimulating. Yeah, that's the caffeine. It's addictive. Don't drink too much. But Hayrin kept drinking it. Every meeting after that, she asked if he brought coffee. He always did. It became their routine. Coffee and conversation before work. The conversation started professionally but drifted into other topics. Hayrin asked about Earth, about human cities, about culture and history. Daejin asked about the Drakari homeworld, about their traditions, their philosophy. We believe the stars are our ancestors, Hayrin explained one day. They sat in the observation room watching the ships move outside. When a Drakari dies, their spirit joins the light of a star. That's why we navigate by starlight. We're following the wisdom of those who came before. That's beautiful, Daejin said. He meant it. What do humans believe? It depends. We have many beliefs, many religions. Some think we go to a place called heaven. Some think we're reborn. Some think death is just the end. You don't have unity in this? No, we're diverse. Different cultures, different ideas. It causes conflict sometimes, but it also makes us creative. We see problems from many angles. Hayrin considered this. Diversity is strength. Interesting. We Drakari value unity. We all follow the same path. But perhaps we've lost something in that uniformity. These talks happened more often. During lunch breaks. During equipment tests. During the quiet moments between official duties. They stopped being liaison officer and wing commander. They became something else. Something like friends. Daejin taught Hayrin about human entertainment. He showed her movies. She was fascinated by animation. Your people create entire worlds with art and light. No Drakari has done this. We tell stories with words and memory, but you make them visible. He introduced her to music. She loved orchestral pieces. The complexity. The way multiple instruments created harmony. This is like a battle formation, she said. Many parts working as one. Beautiful strategy. She taught him about Drakari combat philosophy. We fight with honor. Every opponent deserves respect. Even in war, we acknowledge the courage of our enemies. That's why this war with humans has been so difficult for my people. You fight in ways we don't understand. You use tricks, deception, tactics that seem dishonorable. We call it asymmetric warfare, Daejin explained. You're bigger and stronger than us. If we fight you directly, we lose. So we have to be smarter. Use our environment. Use technology. It's not about honor. It's about survival. I'm beginning to understand that. Your species is fragile, yes. But you're also stubborn, persistent. You refuse to give up. There's strength in that. One evening, Daejin found Hayrin alone in the observation deck. She stood at the window staring at the stars. She looked sad. Her wings drooped. Her shoulders sagged. Are you okay? He asked. She didn't turn around. I received a message from home today. My clutch sister disowned me. She said I've betrayed our people by working with humans, that I'm a traitor to the Drakari Empire. I'm sorry. She was my closest family. We hatched together, grew together, trained together. Now she won't speak to me. Daejin didn't know what to say. He moved to stand beside her. They watched the stars together in silence. Finally, Hayrin spoke again. Do you have siblings, Daejin? Yes, a younger sister, Dayrin. She works in communications on this ship. Are you close? Very close. When our parents died, we only had each other. She's the most important person in my life. What would you do if she disowned you? Daejin thought about it. I'd be devastated. But I'd hope that eventually she'd understand why I made the choice I made. And if she didn't, I'd have to accept it. Sometimes doing the right thing costs us the things we love. Hayrin looked down at him. Her golden eyes were wet. Daejin hadn't known Drakari could cry. You're wise for someone so young. I'm just saying what I feel. That's what makes it wisdom. They stood together for a long time. Eventually, Hayrin's wings lifted slightly. Her posture straightened. Thank you, Daejin. You're a good friend. The word surprised him, but it felt right. You're a good friend too, Hayren. The joint exercises continued. They grew more complex. Human mechs and Drakari fighters practiced combat drills together. At first, it was clumsy. The two species had completely different fighting styles. Humans relied on speed and precision. Drakari used power and endurance. But slowly, they learned from each other. Human pilots started using Drakari formation tactics. Drakari warriors adopted human hit-and-run strategies. Something new was being created. A hybrid style that combined the best of both. Daejin and Hayren watched it all from the command center. They saw enemies become partners. They saw fear become respect. It was working. Peace was actually possible. Then Minseo arrived. She was a human intelligence officer. Sharp eyes, serious face. She pulled Daejin aside after a meeting. "We have a problem," she said quietly. "I've been monitoring communications, both human and Drakari channels. There's chatter, coded messages. Someone is planning something. Planning what? I don't know yet. But there are extremists on both sides who don't want peace. They're talking to each other, coordinating. I think they're going to try something big." "When?" "The peace ceremony. 5 days from now, when both species leaders sign the treaty. That would be the perfect time to strike. Maximum impact. Maximum damage." Daejin felt cold. "Does anyone else know?" "Just you and my supervisor. We're investigating quietly. If the extremists know we're onto them, they'll move up their timeline or go underground. But I'm telling you, because you work closely with the Drakari liaison, watch her. Make sure she's safe. If something happens to her, the peace process dies." That night, Daejin couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Hayren, about how much she'd sacrificed for peace. She'd given up her family, her reputation among her people. She'd taken a celibacy vow as a sign of dedication. She'd crossed every line to make this work, and now someone wanted to kill her. To kill everyone. To destroy everything they'd built. He had to protect her, not just because she was important to the peace process, but because she was his friend, maybe his first real friend in years. The giant dragon woman who drank too much coffee and loved orchestral music and cried when she talked about her sister. He couldn't let anything happen to her. 5 days until the ceremony. 5 days to stop whatever was coming. Daejin got out of bed. He sent a coded message to Minseo. "I'm in. Whatever you need. I'll help." The response came immediately. "Good. Meet me tomorrow at 0600. We have work to do." Daejin looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere out there, people were planning violence, planning death. But he wouldn't let them win. He'd fight. Not with mechs or weapons, he'd fight with intelligence, with courage, with everything he had for peace, for Hayren, for the future. The demonstration was supposed to be simple. Show both species working together on new technology. Human engineers and Drakari technicians had spent weeks building a prototype mech that could be piloted by either species. It was a symbol. Unity through innovation. Daejin stood in the observation gallery above the hangar bay. Below, the massive mech stood in the center of the floor. It was beautiful. Sleek human design mixed with Drakari durability. The armor plating shimmered with both metallic alloys and dragon-scale patterns. Hayren stood beside him. She looked proud. "Your people and mine created this together. It's proof that cooperation is possible." "It's amazing," Daejin agreed. Below, technicians ran final checks. Human dignitaries stood on one side of the bay. Drakari observers stood on the other. Everyone was watching. This moment would be broadcast across both civilizations. A message of hope. Taehyun was in the pilot seat. He'd volunteered for the demonstration. "Don't worry," he'd told Daejin earlier. "I'll make it look good. Just basic maneuvers. Nothing fancy." The countdown began. 10 seconds, 9, 8. Daejin felt uneasy. Something was wrong. He couldn't explain it. Just a feeling in his gut. 3, 2, 1, the mech activated. Its systems hummed to life. Lights flickered across the control panels. Taehyun's voice came over the comm. "All systems green." Beginning movement sequence, the mech took one step forward, then another. Smooth. Perfect. The crowd below applauded. Then the explosion hit. The blast came from the mech's left side. Fire erupted. Metal screamed. The observation gallery shook. Daejin grabbed the railing to keep from falling. Beside him, Hayren spread her wings for balance. What happened? Someone shouted, another explosion. This time near the fuel storage area. Then another. And another. They weren't random. They were coordinated, deliberate. Alarms shrieked. Red emergency lights flashed. The sprinkler system activated, but the fires were too intense. Chemical fires. They burned through water. Sabotage. Hei-Rin roared. She grabbed Dae-Jin's arm. We need to evacuate. But Dae-Jin was looking at the mech. It had fallen. Sparks flew from damaged systems. Taehyun is still in there. Hei-Rin looked down. The mech wasn't moving. The pilot wasn't responding. I'm going down, Dae-Jin said. That's suicide. The fires. He's my friend. I'm not leaving him. Hei-Rin stared at him for 1 second. Then she nodded. Then I'm coming with you. They ran. The corridors were chaos. People screamed. Smoke filled the air. Emergency crews rushed past carrying equipment. No one tried to stop them. Everyone was too focused on survival. The hangar bay was worse. Flames covered half the floor. The prototype mech lay broken. Its cockpit was crushed under debris. Dae-Jin's heart sank. There, Hei-Rin pointed. Taehyun had ejected. He lay 20 feet from the burning mech, unconscious. A support beam had fallen across his legs. They ran to him. The heat was incredible. Dae-Jin's skin felt like it was burning. Hei-Rin reached the beam first. She grabbed it with both hands and lifted. Her muscles strained. Her scales scraped against the metal. With a roar, she threw the beam aside. Dae-Jin dropped beside Taehyun. He's breathing, but his legs are crushed. We need medical now. Get him to safety. I'll clear a path. Hei-Rin turned and started moving debris. Her strength was incredible. She picked up chunks of metal that would have required machinery for humans to move. Dae-Jin hoisted Taehyun onto his back. His friend groaned but didn't wake. Hang on, brother. Stay with me. They moved toward the exit, slowly, too slowly. More explosions rocked the bay. The ceiling was starting to collapse. A piece of burning metal fell. It would have crushed them. But Hei-Rin was there. She caught it with her wing, deflecting it aside. The heat burned her scales. She screamed but didn't stop moving. Almost there. Dae-Jin shouted. They reached the door. Medical teams grabbed Taehyun. They rushed him away. Dae-Jin collapsed against the wall. His lungs burned. His eyes watered. Everything hurt. Hei-Rin slumped beside him. Her wing was damaged. Burns covered the membrane. Is he going to live? I don't know, Dae-Jin said honestly. But we got him out. That's something. Alarms continued to wail. Through the smoke and chaos, Dae-Jin saw something that made his blood freeze. Bodies. Dead bodies. Some human, some Drakari. They'd been standing near the blast points. They never had a chance. This wasn't an accident, Hei-Rin said. Her voice was cold, dangerous. This was an attack. Minseo appeared through the smoke. Her face was grim. We have bigger problems. The explosions destroyed the communication grid. We're blind. Can't contact other parts of the ship. Can't coordinate response. And there's more. What more? Dae-Jin asked. During the evacuation, someone tried to break into the reactor room. Security stopped them, but just barely. If they'd succeeded, they could have triggered a meltdown. 3,000 people would have died. The scale of it hit Dae-Jin like a hammer. This wasn't just sabotage. This was an attempt at mass murder. The conspirators. They moved early. Or this is just the beginning, Minseo said. We captured one of them, human, he won't talk. But we found this on him. She held up a small data chip. Encrypted. My team is working on cracking it. Hei-Rin stood up. She was injured, burned, exhausted. But her eyes blazed with fury. Where is this prisoner? Detention level, why? Because I'm going to make him talk. Hei-Rin, wait. Dae-Jin started. No. Enough waiting. Enough playing nice. People died today. Your friend might die. My people died. Human and Drakari blood mixed on that floor. Someone is going to pay for this. She started walking. Dae-Jin hurried after her. You can't just interrogate him. There are rules, procedures, human rules. Human procedures. I am Drakari. We have different methods. They reached the detention level. Security guards tried to stop Hei-Rin. She growled. They moved aside. The prisoner sat in a cell. He was young, maybe 30. He had the look of a soldier, scarred, hard. When he saw Hei-Rin, he smiled. Come to kill me, dragon, go ahead. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not going to kill you, Hei-Rin said calmly. She opened the cell door. The guards started to protest. Hayrin silenced them with a look. She stepped inside. I'm going to make you wish for death. Wait, Dejin said. There's another way. Look at him. He wants to be a martyr. He wants us to hurt him. It proves we're the monsters he thinks we are. Hayrin paused. What do you suggest? Dejin stepped into the cell. He sat down across from the prisoner. What's your name? The man glared at him. I don't have to tell you anything. No, you don't, but I'll tell you something. Today, Wing Commander Hayrin saved my friend's life. She risked herself to pull him from the fire. She got burned doing it. A Drakari warrior bled for a human. That's what you tried to destroy. Not just machines. Not just politics. You tried to destroy the possibility that two species could care about each other. The prisoner's expression faltered slightly. I know you think you're fighting for something important, Dejin continued. Maybe you lost someone in the war. Maybe you have reasons for your hate. But look at what you've done. You killed people today. Both sides. You didn't strike a blow for your cause. You just created more grief, more pain, more reasons for hate. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. You're scared. Change is frightening. Peace means letting go of anger. It's easier to hold on to rage than to face the hard work of forgiveness. The prisoner looked away. His hands shook slightly. Who are you working with? Dejin asked quietly. How many more attacks are planned? Silence. People will die if you don't help us. Maybe people you care about. Maybe more humans. Maybe more Drakari. But definitely more innocent people who just want the war to end. The prisoner's jaw clenched. For a long moment he said nothing. Then quietly, the ceremony. The big attack is planned for the ceremony. 4 days from now. That's all I know. I was just supposed to create chaos. Distract security. Make it easier for the real strike. Who's leading it? I don't know names. We were kept separate. Cells. No one knows the full plan. Just their piece. The data chip, Mincio said from the doorway. My team cracked it. It has coordinates. Meeting points. But no names. Just codes. Dejin stood up. We need to find whoever's running this operation. We have 4 days. Hayrin nodded. She looked at the prisoner. You made a choice today. You could have stayed silent. Died a martyr. Instead, you chose to save lives. That's the first step toward redemption. They left the cell. In the corridor, Hayrin leaned against the wall. Her burned wing trembled. I wanted to hurt him badly. I know, but you were right. Violence would have accomplished nothing. You're learning human stubbornness, Dejin said with a small smile. Perhaps, or perhaps you're learning Drakari honor. She pushed off the wall. We need to report to command. Plan our next move. First medical. Your wing needs treatment after we... Now, Hayrin, you can't help anyone if you collapse. She looked like she wanted to argue. Then she sighed. Very well. But you need treatment too. You inhaled too much smoke. They walked to medical together. Behind them, the ship slowly recovered from the chaos. Fires were being contained. Wounded were being treated. The dead were being counted. And somewhere the conspirators watched and waited for their next chance to strike. Medical cleared them both after 2 hours. Hayrin's wing would heal, but slowly. The burns were serious. Dejin's lungs were damaged from smoke, but not critically. They would both live. Taehyun was still in surgery. The doctors said it would be close. Dejin sat in the waiting room and tried not to think about losing his best friend. Instead, he focused on the data chip, on the conspirators. On stopping them, Mincio found him there. Command wants to see us, both of you. The command center was tense. Officers moved between stations. Holographic displays showed damage reports. The attack had hurt them badly. 5 dead, 23 wounded, the prototype mech destroyed, and the ceremony was in 4 days. Admiral Hansol stood at the center. He was 50 years old, gray hair, stern face. He'd been Dejin's commander for 3 years. A good man, a fair leader, Corporal Dejin, Wing Commander Hayrin. He nodded to them both. I've read the reports. You both showed remarkable courage today. You have my gratitude. Thank you, Admiral, Dejin said. Now we need that courage for something more dangerous. Intelligence believes the conspirators will strike at the ceremony. We need to find them, stop them. But we're blind. The attack destroyed most of our monitoring systems. We can't track communications effectively. What about the data chip? Hayrin asked. It has coordinates, meeting locations, but they're in neutral space, outside our jurisdiction. We can't legally send forces there. So we send people who aren't officially forces. Daijin said. Han Sol smiled grimly. Exactly. A small team. Off the books. You gather intelligence, find evidence, come back. Then we can act officially. Who's going? Minseo asked. You three. Daijin knows the technical systems. Minseo knows intelligence work. Hayrin knows Drakari operations. Plus, you've proven you work well together, and if you're caught, we can deny official involvement. You want us to be spies, Hayrin said flatly. I want you to save lives. Will you do it? Daijin looked at Hayrin. She looked at him. They both thought of the bodies in the hangar bay. The blood, the fire, the waste of it all. Yes, they said together. They left in a small shuttle 6 hours later. The coordinates led to a space station called Haven's Rest. It was a trading post. Neutral territory where all species could meet without military presence. It was also a perfect place for criminals, smugglers, and conspirators. The flight took 8 hours. Daijin used the time to study the station's layout. 3 levels, multiple docking ports, hundreds of ships coming and going daily. Finding anyone there would be nearly impossible. We need a plan, Minseo said. She sat at the navigation console, her fingers dancing across controls. We can't just walk around asking questions. These people are dangerous, organized. The chip mentioned a meeting, Hayrin said. She was in the cargo area, checking weapons. They'd brought a small arsenal. Just in case. Dock 17 tomorrow at local midnight. Someone will be there. We observe, Daijin suggested. Record faces. Track them. See where they go. Build a network. And if they spot us, we improvise, Minseo laughed. Great plan, Corporal. They docked at Haven's Rest at midnight local time. The station was busy despite the hour. Beings from a dozen species moved through the corridors. Traders, travelers, workers. The air smelled like fuel and spices and unwashed bodies. Daijin felt exposed. His military bearing made him stand out. Hayrin was even more obvious. A 12-foot dragon woman drew stares everywhere. We should split up, Minseo said. You two are too noticeable together. I'll do surveillance. You two create a distraction. What kind of distraction? Hayrin asked. I don't know. Fight in a bar. 'Cause a scene. Keep security busy while I work. Daijin and Hayrin looked at each other. We're not good at this spy stuff, Daijin admitted. No kidding. Just try not to die. Minseo disappeared into the crowd. They found a bar near Dock 17. It was crowded. Loud. Perfect. They sat in a corner and tried to look casual. Daijin ordered something called station whiskey. It tasted like battery acid. Hayrin ordered water. She didn't trust alien alcohol. This is strange, she said quietly. We're soldiers. Not spies. We're whatever we need to be to stop the attack. You've changed, Daijin. When we first met, you were terrified. Now you sit in a criminal bar planning espionage. You've changed too. You used to be so formal. Now you drink coffee and watch human movies. Hayrin smiled slightly. It was the first time Daijin had seen her truly smile. Perhaps we're both learning from each other. A fight broke out at the bar. Someone threw a punch. Someone else threw a chair. Within seconds, the whole place erupted. Daijin and Hayrin pressed against the wall as bodies flew past. Should we help break this up? Hayrin asked. No, this is perfect. Security will be busy here. Minseo has her chance. They waited. The fight intensified. Station security arrived. Stun weapons fired. People fell. The bar slowly emptied as combatants were dragged away or fled. Daijin's communicator buzzed. Message from Minseo, got something. Meeting happened. Recorded faces. Need extraction. Dock 19 now. They ran. Through corridors. Past startled aliens. Hayrin's wings brushed the ceiling. Her claws clicked on metal floors. People jumped out of their way. Dock 19 was dark. Quiet. Minseo stood in the shadows. Her face was pale. We have a problem. What problem? I saw who's running the conspiracy. The human side, anyway. She pulled up a holographic image. It's Admiral Han Sol. Daijin's world tilted. That's impossible. He sent us here. I know. I recorded everything. He was at the meeting, talking with a Drakari war priest, planning the ceremony attack. They're not trying to stop peace. They're trying to make sure the war continues. Both sides, working together to keep their people fighting. Hayrin growled low in her throat. Why? Power, money. The war makes them important. Peace would make them obsolete. Han Sol commands a battle fleet. What does he command in peacetime? The war priest leads military rites. What does he do when there's no war? So they sacrifice thousands of lives to keep their positions, Dejin said. The anger in his voice surprised him. They're the enemies, not us. Not humans and Drakari. Them. People who profit from hate. We have the evidence, Minseo said. We can expose them. But we need to get back to the ship first. They'll be watching for us, Heirin said. Hansol knows we're here. If he saw Minseo, he knows we know. He'll try to stop us. Then we don't go back to the ship, Dejin said. We go straight to the ceremony. Public, broadcast everything. He can't stop us if everyone's watching. The ceremony is in 3 days. It's being held on neutral ground. The station Harmony Prime. We can get there if we're fast. They ran for their shuttle. Behind them, alarms started wailing. Hansol had made his move. Station security would be looking for them. They had to leave now. The shuttle bay was chaos. Security forces blocked the exits. There, someone shouted. Don't let them escape. Heirin roared. The sound was primal, terrifying. It echoed through the bay like thunder. Security forces hesitated. Just for a second. It was enough. They reached the shuttle. Dejin threw himself into the pilot seat. His hands flew across controls. Systems activated. Engines roared to life. They're sealing the bay doors. Minseo shouted. Not fast enough. Dejin slammed the throttle forward. The shuttle shot toward the closing doors. They had maybe 3 seconds, 2 seconds. 1 second they made it through with inches to spare. Metal scraped metal. Alarms shrieked. Then they were free, flying through open space. They're launching pursuit ships, Heirin said from the weapons station. 4 of them. Can we fight? Not all 4. This shuttle isn't built for combat. Then we run. Dejin pushed the engines to maximum. The shuttle shook. Warning lights flashed. They were going too fast. The ship couldn't handle this stress, but neither could the pursuit ships. They were built for security, not high-speed chases. Dejin flew like he piloted mechs, aggressive, unpredictable. He used asteroids for cover. He flew close to other ships, using them as shields. He violated every safety protocol in the book. It worked. Slowly, the pursuit ships fell behind. One by one, they gave up the chase. After an hour, they were alone in space. Dejin's hands were shaking. His heart pounded. I can't believe that worked. Human stubbornness, Heirin said. She was smiling again. You refuse to lose. We're not safe yet, Minseo warned. Hansol will warn his co-conspirators. They'll be waiting for us at Harmony Prime. Let them wait, Dejin said. We have evidence. We have truth. And we have 3 days to figure out how to stay alive long enough to share it. He set course for Harmony Prime. Behind them, Haven's Rest disappeared into the darkness. Ahead, the ceremony location grew closer. 3 days. 3 days to save peace. 3 days to expose the conspiracy. 3 days to prove that some things were worth fighting for. Not with weapons or violence, but with courage, with truth, with the stubborn human refusal to give up when the cause was right. Dejin looked at his companions. Minseo, already working on a way to broadcast their evidence. Heirin, checking weapons and planning for the fight ahead. His sister Deirin had messaged. She'd help from the ship. Jiwoo and Sujin, allies on both sides, would support them. They were just a handful of people against powerful enemies. But they had something the conspirators didn't. They had hope. And hope was the most dangerous weapon of all. The ceremony was beautiful. Harmony Prime Station had been decorated with symbols from both species. Human flags flew beside Drakari banners. The Grand Hall could hold 5,000 people. Today it was packed. Diplomats, leaders, press, witnesses from across the galaxy. This was the moment. The end of 3 years of war, the beginning of peace. Dejin watched it all from a maintenance tunnel. He, Heirin, and Minseo had snuck aboard the station 18 hours ago. They'd hidden in the service corridors, avoided patrols, waited for the right moment. That moment was now. The leaders are taking the stage, Minseo whispered. She monitored security feeds on her portable terminal. Human president, Drakari emperor. They'll sign the treaty in 10 minutes. And then the bombs go off. Heirin said grimly. We found 3 already. How many more are hidden? They'd spent the night searching. Using Dejin's engineering knowledge and Heirin's sharp senses, they'd located explosive devices throughout the station. Military grade, powerful enough to kill everyone in the hall. Minseo had disabled the ones they found, but there could be more. We need to broadcast the evidence now, Dejin said. Before they activate the bombs. I'm ready, Minseo said. But the moment we transmit, security will trace our location. We'll have maybe 2 minutes before they find us. Then we make those 2 minutes count. Minseo's fingers danced across her terminal. She uploaded the recordings from Haven's Rest. Video of Admiral Han Sol and the Drakari war priest planning the attack. Audio of them discussing targets. Financial records showing payments, everything. Transmitting now. Broadcasting on all channels. Everyone in that hall is seeing this. Below, on the ceremony floor, chaos erupted. Holographic displays appeared. Everyone could see the evidence. The crowd gasped. Security moved toward the exits. The leaders stopped mid-speech. Admiral Han Sol stood near the stage. His face went pale as his own voice echoed through the hall. His own words condemned him. He looked around frantically. Then he saw the maintenance tunnel. Saw them watching. He drew his weapon. Run, Daejin shouted. They fled through the tunnels. Behind them, footsteps echoed. Han Sol wasn't alone. He'd brought his conspirators. People who'd rather kill witnesses than face justice. This way, Hayren led them deeper into the station. Her size made the tunnels tight, but she pushed through. Her injured wing scraped against metal walls. She ignored the pain. They burst into a cargo bay. Large space. Good visibility. Bad news, it was a dead end. One entrance. No other exits. We're trapped, Minseo said. No, Hayren said. She moved to the center of the bay. We're exactly where we need to be. Open space. Room to fight. Han Sol entered with 6 others, armed, armored, professional soldiers. You've ruined everything, he said to Daejin. His voice was cold, angry. We had the perfect system, a war that could last decades. Profits, power, purpose, and you destroyed it with your naive dreams of peace. Peace isn't naive, Daejin said. Murder for profit is. Spoken like someone who's never commanded in war. Who's never made the hard choices. Han Sol raised his weapon. I taught you well, Corporal. But not well enough. A laser bolt flew. But not at Daejin. At Hayrin. It struck her chest plate. The armor absorbed it, but the impact staggered her. Dragon bitch, one of the soldiers said. You betrayed your species for humans. More soldiers entered. Drakari this time. Led by the war priest from the video. He was enormous. Even bigger than Hayrin, scarred, ancient, powerful. You shame us all, Wing Commander. You were supposed to be a warrior. Instead, you became weak. I became wise, Hayrin shot back. I learned that real strength isn't in fighting. It's in choosing not to fight. In building instead of destroying. Philosophical nonsense. The two groups faced each other. Human conspirators on one side. Drakari on the other. Daejin, Hayrin, and Minseo caught in the middle. Outnumbered, outgunned. This is interesting, the war priest said. We were supposed to be allies. But now that we're exposed, we don't need each other anymore. Tell me, Admiral, why should I let you live? Han Sol's eyes narrowed. Because we're in the same position, exposed, hunted, we need each other. Or I kill you all and blame everything on humans. Claim I was working undercover to expose the conspiracy. You lying? Han Sol started. The war priest attacked. Not Han Sol, Hayrin. He moved with terrifying speed for something so large. His claws slashed. She barely dodged. The blow would have killed her. The cargo bay erupted into violence. Human conspirators fought Drakari conspirators. Old allies turned on each other. Meanwhile, Daejin and his team had to survive both groups. Minseo fired her weapon. She hit one of the human soldiers. He dropped. She moved behind cover. Laser bolts followed her. A little help here? Daejin ran to a control panel. He was an engineer. His weapon was knowledge. He accessed the bay's systems. Cargo doors. Atmosphere controls. Loading mechanisms. An idea formed. Hayrin fought the war priest. She was skilled, but he was stronger. Older. More experienced. He struck her again and again. Her armor cracked. Blood appeared on her scales. But she didn't back down. She fought with everything she had. For peace, she roared. She swept his legs. He fell. She raised her claws for a killing blow. He caught her hands, twisted. Bones cracked. Hayrin screamed, "No!" Daejin activated his plan. The cargo bay floor opened. It was designed for loading large shipments directly into space. The war priest fell through. His grip on Hayrin meant she fell too. Daejin didn't think. He jumped after them. The fall took 3 seconds. It felt like forever. The cargo hold below was darker, colder. Hayrin and the war priest slammed into the floor. Daejin landed on a stack of containers. The impact knocked the wind from his lungs. Above, the fighting continued. Below, silence. Dae-jin climbed down. His body hurt everywhere. He was pretty sure something was broken, but he moved anyway. Stubborn human persistence. Hyren lay on the floor. Her wing was bent wrong. Her breathing was shallow. But she was alive. The war priest was also alive. He stood slowly. Blood dripped from his mouth. He looked at Dae-jin. Then he laughed. A human child thinks to fight me? I don't need to fight you, Dae-jin said. He pressed a button on his wrist device. I just needed to get you away from witnesses. The cargo hold doors sealed. Then, with a groan of metal, the outer hull doors opened. Atmosphere rushed out. The war priest's eyes widened as he realized what was happening. The vacuum of space pulled at him. Dae-jin had activated his emergency suit. A thin membrane spread over his body. It wouldn't last long. Maybe 5 minutes. But it was enough. The war priest had no such protection. He clawed at the floor, trying to hold on. But physics didn't care about strength. The pull was too strong. He flew out into space. His body tumbled away into the darkness. Dae-jin closed the outer doors. Atmosphere returned. He collapsed beside Hyren. Are you okay? Broken wing. Broken ribs. Probably internal bleeding. But alive, she coughed. Blood appeared on her lips. You saved me. You saved me first. In the hangar. Remember? We save each other. That's what friends do. Above, the fighting stopped. Security had arrived. They arrested the conspirators. Human and Drakari working together to stop the violence. It was poetic in a way. Medical teams found Dae-jin and Hyren an hour later. They were rushed to emergency care. Doctors worked frantically. Both had come so close to dying, but they lived. 3 days later, Dae-jin woke in a hospital bed. His sister Daerin sat beside him. She was crying. You idiot. You nearly died, but I didn't. We didn't. Taehyun woke up yesterday. He'll walk again. They saved his legs. Good, that's good. Hyren was in the next room. They moved Dae-jin's bed so he could see her. She was still unconscious. Bandages covered most of her body. Her wing was in a brace, but monitors showed stable vital signs. She would recover. The ceremony happened 1 week later. The real ceremony, no bombs, no conspirators, just two species coming together. Dae-jin attended in a wheelchair. He wasn't fully healed yet. Hyren stood beside him. She wasn't fully healed either, but they both needed to be there, to see the moment they'd fought for. The human president and Drakari emperor signed the treaty. The war was over. Peace had arrived. The crowd erupted in applause. Humans and Drakari together, celebrating, crying, embracing, 3 years of pain ending in 1 moment of hope. Afterward, they held a smaller ceremony, awards for those who made peace possible. Dae-jin received a medal. So did Min-seo. So did Hyren. They stood together on stage. The unlikely heroes, the Virgin Mec pilot, the intelligence officer, the celibate dragon warrior. In private later, Hyren spoke to Dae-jin. They sat in the observation deck, watching ships from both species flying in formation, working together, protecting each other. My vow ended yesterday, Hyren said quietly. Dae-jin looked at her, confused. Your vow? Celibacy. 16 months, remember? The mission is complete. The vow is fulfilled? Oh, right. Dae-jin's face turned red. After everything they'd been through, he still got embarrassed talking about this. Hyren smiled. That genuine smile that had become more common. I've decided to extend it voluntarily. Not because of duty. Because there's something more important than physical pleasure. I found something rare. A true friend. Someone who jumped into a cargo hold to save me. Someone who risked everything for peace. That friendship is worth more than any brief pleasure. You're my best friend too, Dae-jin said.